Welcome back to Table Talk Sports. I'm your host, Logan, with
Tyler.
and we're going over our March Madness brackets. We'll start off with our sleepers. Who's your sleeper?
I'll go first. I have New Mexico. They have really good guard play. They force a lot of turnovers. Their three lead guards average 14 more points. JT Toppin averages 12 points. And it's a really bad matchup for Clemson, who I think Clemson is like probably the second best 6 seed, just behind BYU. But they got a tough draw, and then Baylor in the second round is also a great matchup for BYU for New Mexico, because Baylor turns the ball over a lot, especially in the past 10 games. So you could be looking at a Sweet 16, potentially Elite 8, because Arizona is very inconsistent. So.
Mine would have to be Samford, especially because they shoot 40% from three, pretty much, and they got a dude who shoots 47. So I think their leading scorer is literally named Aker. Same name. I mean, you also need to go with the vibes and the names. It's like if you got a guy with an amazing name, especially leading the team in points, you got to go with it. The one thing that sticks out for me, though, is I could see their downfall is they're 56th in the whole field of defensive efficiency. So Kansas can get off to a great start and put up a lot of points against them. So it's kind of an iffy pick, but I can see them going far if they shoot well.
Yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't say there's a lot of crazy sleepers from the 12 seeds or even the 11s, but I would shout out James Madison, McNeese also, but Logan just talked about them a little bit. McNeese got a really tough draw with Gonzaga. I would have picked them against almost any of their 5 seed, but we'll still have to come back to that. But I like James Madison's matchup with Wisconsin, and I like how they match up with Duke, honestly, and I could see them making a run. Eventually, it would probably end with Houston, but I like James Madison a lot.
Now with teams that are underseeded, you think? I feel like the obvious one's obviously Auburn. Thought they were going to be a 3 seed going into the tournament, but got the 4 seed. That bracket's absolutely stacked, but I can see in some of my brackets I do have them making it out. But they do have a good draw against Duquesne, who I don't think is a good 11 seed. Probably, definitely the worst 11 seed.
Yeah. Who else? Who do I think is underseeded? I would honestly argue Utah State. 27-6, Mountain West. They got really disrespected with the cheating. Tournament-wise, Boise State. I feel like they shouldn't have had a first 4 game. Colorado State too. I was surprised. Got a first 4 game, but you had to expect it with all the bid stealers that happened this year. But yeah, I think Utah State could have been a 7, or they could have even been a 6. I think they're better than South Carolina, and I think they're better than Texas Tech, to be honest.
To go for overseeded teams, maybe I would go overseeded, probably Michigan State. I feel like it should have been on the 10 line, but especially with teams like Nevada, and who else was the other 10 seed that was Drake?
Yeah.
I don't think Michigan State had the resume. I mean, they're a great team. Like, they can make a run. They're one of the few teams outside the top 6 seeds that I could see going to the Final Four, but they definitely have been overseeded with their resume.
I think Duquesne's an obvious one. I have no idea how they got an 11 seed. There's 12. James Madison is way better than Duquesne. McNeese is better than Duquesne. Samford's better than Duquesne.
Grand Canyon.
Yeah, Grand Canyon's better than all these 12s are better than them. But honestly, I would go with Florida Atlantic. I'm surprised they got in so comfortably. I didn't think it was gonna be a first 4 type situation for them, but I thought they were definitely going to be on either the 10 line and even maybe the 9 with all the bid stealers, and they didn't even make the conference championship, so I was definitely surprised they got an 8 seed. But, I mean, the way the committee was seeding this year, you can see it. They have quality wins. It's just, are they going to play up to their potential? Because sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
I guess we'll head into the bracket. Let's check the Grambling State and Montana State.
I'm just gonna write down all the 1 seeds because.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do too. Is write the 1 seeds because I don't see. Oh, Grambling State's gonna win in overtime against Montana State. Go look at the stats. Yeah, they just won 88 to 81 in overtime. They took 66 shots. Well, probably because they're in overtime, but they only took 10 threes.
All right, so which region?
They're a team that doesn't take many threes, and against Purdue, that's not going to work.
Which region would you like to start in? Let's start in the South.
Which part is that?
It says it.
All right, I got you.
Start
I
with,
wasn't
okay.
looking at it.
Nebraska and A&M. You could start.
Oh shit. Oops. You hear that? So I'm just writing all the 1 seeds down. Nebraska, Texas A&M. It's a great guard play in that game. Wade Taylor. I love Wade Taylor, and I love Texas A&M. I feel like they got a tough draw last year with the hot Penn State team, and they were a team that definitely could make a run, and they squeezed their way into March Madness this year. 14 losses, but I love Texas A&M. And Nebraska plays bad away from home. I think they have 4 wins in total away from Pinnacle, whatever arena, and I don't see how they can possibly go on a run. I mean, if Tominaga's hot, then it's probably Nebraska's game. But if not, I'm gonna take Texas A&M.
So for me, I personally have Nebraska. I'd say Big Ten was probably worse than the SEC this year, but I don't trust. As much as I don't trust the Big Ten in March, I don't trust the SEC that much either. Outside of like a Kentucky, and just the bad. They have some pretty bad losses. Texas A&M, and Nebraska. How close is Nebraska to Memphis? I don't know. How close is Nebraska to Memphis?
Not that close.
It's closer than Texas.
I wouldn't say so.
Either way, I think if Texas A&M does eventually win, they have a better chance of beating Houston than Nebraska does of beating Houston, because Houston guards the 3-point line very well.
Mm-hmm.
But I will take Nebraska because I think they're a better team than A&M.
Next game, Wisconsin JMU. A lot of people are taking JMU. I am not one of those people. I'm one of those people that doesn't like picking teams that are hot going into March Madness, but I feel like this Wisconsin team has gathered what they've had at the beginning of the season when they were red hot, when they were ranked top 10. With A.J. Storr looking unstoppable, and Chucky Hepburn coming off huge nights. I think he had 23 against Purdue. If that team can put that together with Max Klesmit playing good, Tyler Wall playing good, I could see them making a run, so I'm having them over JMU.
See, me on the other hand, I think James Madison matches up really well. They have the shooting to easily match up with Wisconsin. I mean, their whole top 9 players, I think, shoots above 35% from 3. Terrence Edwards Jr. is one of the best guards. T.J. Bickerstaff is nice, and I just think they have the shooting to compete with Wisconsin. Logan said JMU was hot, but Wisconsin's also very hot coming in. I mean, they won 4 games in a row until they lost to Illinois, which is a great game at the end of the day. And honestly, I just think JMU has the better shooting. It's going to be an offensive matchup, and I think the shooters on JMU will outweigh the shooters on Wisconsin. So I'm taking JMU.
Mm-hmm. Next game, Duke and Vermont. Nothing really stands out to me for Vermont, and Duke's a pretty well-rounded team, and I think they easily get out of this one with a 15-point win.
Yeah, there's nothing really to talk about. Vermont has no chance.
Texas Tech and NC State. This is a very popular upset pick, but I do like Texas Tech a lot. Tough Big 12 they've been in this year, and they've squeaked out a bunch of good wins. I could definitely see them making a run. Gonna have a nice matchup with Kentucky in the second round. But yeah, I got Texas Tech.
Yeah, I got Texas Tech as well. NC State had a great run in the ACC tournament, winning the whole thing, but I don't know. It just gives me Duke vibes from last year when they won 8 in a row coming into the tournament, and they kind of fell apart. Texas Tech matches up really well against them, and DJ Burns will get his, but I don't think it's going to be enough for NC State to overcome.
Yeah, the thing with the hot teams is, yes, they won 5 games last week, but they waited a whole week to play another game. It's you're going to lose some sense of how hot you are in a week. And next, I'm going with Kentucky pretty easily.
Yeah.
Over Oakland State.
To talk about. Florida versus the winner, Boise State, Colorado. Florida's big man just got hurt. His leg got destroyed. But I think if Colorado wins this game, they will go and beat Florida. Boise State, I'm not so sure about because they play similar pace to Florida. Colorado plays faster than Florida. They shoot better than Florida. So if Colorado does win, I'll take them to beat Florida.
Yeah, I was watching Colorado in the Pac-12 tournament. They looked really good. Ty Simpson. I like their team overall, and I do think they beat Boise State. I wonder if that game is about to start. And
Marquette versus Western Kentucky. I think there's going to be, if you're ever going to pick a fifth team to be the two out of this whole thing,
this would be the team I'd pick.
this would be the one to pick. Tyler Kolek, obviously he's coming off injury, but we'll see how that goes. I don't expect it to really be a tough game for Marquette at all.
I do also like Marquette's big and Cam Jones. I love the passing on that team. Very pass first, but it's really just going to have to see how Tyler Kolek comes back from injury to see where that team's going to go.
Yeah, let's just continue. I have Marquette beating Colorado. I just think Marquette's a better team at this point. Sometimes teams have players that when it gets later into March, when the teams are pretty even coaching wise or size wise, it just comes down to who has the smarter guards, who has the veteran guards, and Marquette has exactly that. So
yeah, Marquette has a lot more scoring than Colorado does, and that's why I'm going with Marquette.
Kentucky versus Texas Tech is another very interesting one because Kentucky is horrendous on defense.
Yeah.
They're genuinely horrible, and
Check
no team has ever made it past the first weekend after being ranked in the top 15 in offense and outside the top 110 in defense. But I do think this is an anomaly right here because Texas Tech has struggled. They struggled the whole year. Kentucky too, but I think Kentucky's scoring just completely outweighs Texas Tech. And you have Rob Dillingham, Reed Shepard, DJ Wagner. It's going to be very hard for Texas Tech to overcome that scoring barrage.
Yeah, I also do have Kentucky. They got a lot of scores, and they do have a lot of freshmen, but they've been really stepping it up. So they got a lot of weapons, freshmen to go to. So if Reed Shepard's having his day, then you go to Reed Shepard. If Dillingham's high, you go to Dillingham. You got a lot of options to go with there.
JMU versus Duke. I really want to pick JMU, but the only problem is that their size is not really favorable. I mean, the leading rebounder is 6'9", and then you have Flip for Duke. But honestly, when I watch Flip, he really doesn't impress me all that much. I watch him sometimes against better centers, and he doesn't impress me. So honestly, I can easily see James Madison beating Duke. They have the shooting to keep up with Duke, and Duke, their cold streaks is nothing to play about. When they go cold, it's very hard for them to get back into games. You saw them against North Carolina. They just could not make shots. So I'm taking the upset, and I'm going with James Madison to the Sweet 16.
I'm going Wisconsin over Duke. I really like the matchups for Wisconsin. AJ Storr, been very hot. I do like Stephen Crowell and Tyler Wall on Filipowski. And yeah, I like Chucky Hepburn versus their guards. I feel like Duke is a team that can have a very bad day, and they've lost a bunch of midder teams this year.
Yeah. And then Houston versus 8 or 9, whoever it doesn't really matter. Houston's winning that game.
Yeah.
So I'll go into mine. Houston versus James Madison. Houston guards the 3-point line very well. James Madison shoots the 3-ball very well. Houston's defense will outweigh JMU, and this is where the run ends because Houston's going to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, this is where Wisconsin ends also. Wisconsin, they're going to lose gas. They do go on. They have terrible shooting streaks. Sometimes they don't score the ball for 4 or 5 minutes in games. Yeah, and Houston's probably the best defense in the country, so you got to go with them.
Yeah. Marquette versus Kentucky. This is what I was saying earlier. Once you get deep into March, it's your veteran guard play that will beat everything else. Kentucky's very young, led by freshmen, and I don't see them. I could see them beating Marquette, but I think that the experience is going to get to them at this point. Marquette, very experienced team, so I'll go Marquette.
This is where I'm going Kentucky. I'm just feeling the vibes personally. Both of these teams score a bunch of points, and when you see Kentucky in high-scoring games, they're pretty much shot for shot in it. And if you got guys like Dillingham and Reed Shepard that can go shot for shot, then I like their chances.
Yeah, and then in the South Regional Final, I have Houston beating Marquette.
Same.
It's just Houston. I feel like past years, people were scared to pick on them because they played in a weaker conference, but there's nothing on their resume that you can really gripe about, other than them losing to Iowa State
by 28 on their last
in
game.
the
It's
last
fine.
game. But they're gonna move past that. Nobody cares about what happened in the past. It's
Yeah,
all
Jamal
about
Shed got his bad game out, 3 for 17. He got it out of his system.
and Houston's just the best team, honestly, in the whole tournament. You could argue they have the resume. They played in the best conference in the country this year. Lost 4 games the whole year.
If it wasn't for that Iowa State game, they would be the one seed easily.
Exactly.
Whole tournament.
So yeah.
Should we go to the West? I want to go to the West.
Yeah, let's go to the West.
Mississippi State, Michigan State. I really like this Mississippi State team. I feel like they can make a run, but it's first game of March Madness, and this is like the one where you got to really think, especially because it's a 9 versus an 8. Nines have been favored. I'm pretty sure in the past. I think they might be favored all time.
Yeah, they have more wins.
And also, I got to go with Izzo getting out of the first round. I mean, this team, they are loaded. They haven't been able to put it together for
Yep.
super long stretches. But, I mean, they've got so much talent on the roster, especially Xavier Booker, who stepped up the past, I want to say, like 5-10 games. He's been getting a lot more minutes, a lot more shots. Very talented. Plus, you have 3 amazing guards in Hoggard, Akins, and Walker.
Michigan State as well. The experience just outweighs everything else. I know Mississippi State just had a good one against Tennessee, but it's Izzo, and I know he's been struggling as of recently in March, but I just don't see a way that Mississippi State will beat Michigan State in this game. So let's kind of fly through. St. Mary's versus Grand Canyon.
I got St. Mary's.
I have St. Mary's. A lot of people are picking Grand Canyon,
Yeah.
which I'm not mad about, but St. Mary's plays at a slow pace. They play their own game. They're not going to be sped up by a team like Grand Canyon.
Wherever they're seeded in March, they're always underrated for some reason.
Yep, they'll play
wherever
them.
they're seeded.
They're the best team in their conference all year. They beat Gonzaga in the chip, and honestly, they have a really favorable matchup, especially against Bama in the round of 32. Bama is very streaky. They can score the ball at a high clip, but they
can't defend.
they don't
actually. They have
play
a
defense. They're
They have
horrible
a,
at
they have
defense.
a they have a more they have a better
Worse.
They have a worse defense than Kentucky, which is surprising.
Exactly.
Which is exactly why I'm going with Charleston over the upset.
But that's what happens in the SEC. But Bama and Charleston are going to be a million points scored in this game. Both really high-powered offenses, both streaky, shoot the 3-ball very well. But at the end of the day, Bama has the better offense than Charleston. And I picked Charleston last year, and they didn't win. So I'm going with Bama.
Second time's the charm, you know what they say. And this is where I
About
go to.
third time's the charm.
No, I was just making that up.
New Mexico versus Clemson. You already
Give
know
me
how I feel about New
Mexico.
Mexico. New Mexico has better guards.
4 guards who score 10
Clemson,
points a
I'm
game.
sorry, you guys got really messed up in the past couple years with your draws. Rutgers, Rutgers handled their business. But New Mexico is the better team, honestly. Clemson's a very good team, don't get it wrong.
Jamal Mashburn. Love Jamal Mashburn. Remember his 1 year at Minnesota.
Baylor versus Colgate. Colgate, no chance.
Bro, Colgate always gets a 14 seed, and everyone hypes him up every year.
They
I
have a
remember they
chance.
were beating Arkansas by like 5 or 10 or something, and I was like, damn, the hype's real. And then they choked it, and then last year they choked. Or they didn't choke, they just played bad.
Let's go to Dayton versus Nevada. I see a lot of people turning in. I see a lot of people picking Nevada because Dayton has not played well as of late. But I
was going to go Dayton.
Who's Nevada's? They have this. Somebody in Nevada got hurt. I remember. And in this game, Dayton has the best player, Day Grant. He's the best player in this game, and that's what I see being the difference, honestly. So I'm taking Dayton.
Yeah, Darren Holmes is probably one of the best big men in the country. So, gotta go Dayton. I didn't like Dayton, but I do like how everyone's not picking them, and when everyone's not picking them, is when you pick them, especially when they're supposed to be favored.
And then Arizona versus Long Beach State. I mean,
Arizona.
Come on,
I mean, I could see them losing this just because Arizona's
Just 'cause
bad
Arizona.
in March. But, I don't know, Caleb Love might be different in March. I don't know. But he's pretty... I'm not a big fan of Caleb Love outside of March because he'd be taking a lot of shots. But
I mean, he's a big
in
time-
March, they'd be
he's a
falling,
big time
so...
player. Arizona versus
You
Dayton.
gotta pick them.
This is an incredible game. Arizona's inconsistency worries me. So, in a couple of my brackets, I'd go Dayton, honestly. And I could go with them in my main bracket, but honestly, Arizona's a more talented team. They have better players all around. And I think that's what you have to just weigh here. Arizona's the better team at the end of the day. And they have veterans.
Yeah, I'm going to take Zona just because Balo, I feel like, can guard Darren Holmes.
And then we have New Mexico versus Baylor. Another very favorable matchup for New Mexico. Baylor turns the ball over a lot. New Mexico
Very good guard
takes
playing
away
this.
the ball. Another great guard-heavy game. And I do think New Mexico
New
will squeak
Mexico's
out.
a team that has 3 guards that score over
14.
14, and then Baylor has 4 guards that score over 10.
So I mean,
It's a
if you
guard
like
loaded
if you
game.
like guards, then this is the game for you. But I do think at the end of the day, the turnover battle is what's gonna be the downfall for Baylor.
I'm gonna go
As
with
a
Baylor though, because I feel like they got the best center in this. They got the best big man in this game, Yves Misi. He's still picking it up. I mean, I tuned into one of the Baylor games in overtime with Houston, and I saw him try and go for a dunk, and he lost the ball, and it went like 13 feet in the air. But he's a really good player, and I feel like he could take over that game. So we're gonna go with Baylor.
Then St. Mary's versus Bama. St. Mary's, they're gonna force Bama to play to their pace. They defend well, and I think they don't have the defense they'll be able to keep up with St. Mary's. St. Mary's defense will be able to slow down Bama, and I think this is a win for St. Mary's. I don't see Bama going far at all.
Yeah, I'm going to say Mary's over Charleston. I feel like Charleston might be just a Hail Mary pick, so we don't want to send them too far so it doesn't screw over a bracket if they lose first round. So we'll go with St. Mary's.
And then I have UNC beating Michigan State, but don't be surprised if Michigan State pulls something crazy and beats UNC, but I don't see it with the way UNC is playing.
I have UNC going to the Final Four in most of my brackets, but we're going to have some fun. We're picking MSU, Tom Izzo, March Madness. Let's do it. MSU, St. Mary's. Tom Izzo, March Madness. Let's do it.
So when MSU loses in the first round, what are you going to say?
When they lose at 12 o'clock.
They lose at 12
when they
o'clock
lose
on
at
the
noon
first game of
tomorrow.
They lose tomorrow at 12.
In my March Madness bracket, I actually do have Mississippi State winning that game, by the way. So just know that my perfect bracket's really gonna happen there, not here. But
I have UNC beating St. Mary's. They have one of the best bigs in the country, more experienced. They're not gonna get sped up by another team, and they don't play horrible defense like Bama. That's why. New Mexico versus Arizona. I'm taking New Mexico. This is where Arizona their inconsistency is gonna show against great guard play. Caleb Love, he's gonna sell, and New Mexico has the vibes, to be honest. Like sometimes you just gotta go with your gut, and they have the vibes. So they're beating Arizona to go to the Elite Eight.
I feel like this is Arizona's year. I'm liking their whole roster. I'm liking the TikToks their walk-ons be making. And I like them. I like them over MSU too. We're putting them in the Final Four. That's what we're doing. Arizona.
It is in Phoenix, Arizona, the Final Four.
Arizona, baby. They need to get to Phoenix. That's what they're playing for. They get
You know what they say
Phoenix.
though? If you don't trust Purdue in March, don't trust Arizona in March. Nobody's ever said that, but that's what I said. All right,
Well,
screw
I
it.
might have Purdue going far too.
All right, let's go Midwest. Let's start speeding it. I have Utah State beating TCU. Better team, got underseeded.
Yeah,
TCU doesn't impress me.
Whole conference got underseeded.
Gonzaga versus McNeese. I have no idea who to pick. McNeese shoots the absolute lights out. Gonzaga is Gonzaga. If I could pick both of them, I would. But how many 12 over 5s do I have? I have one right now. I need another one.
I don't know, because
So-
no 12s won last year.
Exactly. So you know what that means. They're due. The 12s are due. And you know what they say. McNeese is
Shahada
due.
Wells? That's a nice name to have in March. Shahada Wells.
McNeese. And they
I'm
have the
going
vibes.
Gonzaga.
They have the vibes. But if Gonzaga wins, they're going to the Final Four or the Elite Eight. They're beating Purdue. 100%.
I mean, they got Graham, EK.
100% if Gonzaga wins, they're going
Love him.
Actually, oh no, bro. I really don't know.
I mean, we might have to flip a coin or something.
I don't know. I genuinely have no idea.
And actually, like, Sanford's been, like, my Cinderella. I won't Gonzaga there, by the way. But Stanford's been my Cinderella pick in most of my brackets. But I just feel like people are going to hop on that bandwagon now that McCullers out. But I was on the bandwagon before that even happened. So now it's like, damn, like, my bandwagon, it broke. The wheel broke on my wagon. So we're taking Kansas.
Honestly, I don't see a reason for people to like start fading Sanford just because they're being taken a lot now. But I have no idea where Kansas, their offense is going to be like generated from. Hunter Dickinson was dealing with the injury just a little bit ago, and Sanford shoots the lights out of the ball as well.
I know, but
Well
they don't
coached.
defend though, so that's why I'm not going with them.
But-
they can't defend.
Hey,
They're like Kentucky level defense. It's
Sanford, they're shooting lights out, and they're going for that big 13-4 upset. We're taking Sanford because they have the vibes. Their name is Sanford. I don't know their mascot. Might switch,
Acre.
might switch McNeese
Acre.
and Gonzaga. I don't know.
I do want Sanford to win that game. By the way, I'm just picking this because I gotta have a little variety in my bracket.
You need a 13 beating a 4, Logan. It's like one every year.
I got Charleston.
Yale beating Auburn. Oh, you do have Charleston. Not happening, buddy. Anyways, let's continue. South Carolina, Oregon. Oregon has not lost a first round game in like the past 15 years that they play in the first round. That's not happening. Oregon is
Infante.
Infali Dante.
I don't even know. It's
Like
Infante
Infali
or
Dante?
Nafale. I don't even know.
Dante.
He's Nafali Dante.
Oregon's moving on.
Didn't miss a shot in that game.
Creighton is not
You're
losing to
stud.
Akron. If Creighton loses to Akron, I'll shave my head bald.
We're both going bald if Creighton loses. Bucket.
Texas, Colorado State. A lot of people are going to pick Colorado State because of the game yesterday. Colorado State is not a crazy great team. They don't match up well with Texas. Texas has good guard play
I
and
feel like-
experienced guard play.
Yeah, I feel like Texas is probably the worst 7 seed, but
That doesn't
they
mean
also
they're
are so
bad.
underrated though.
And honestly, at this point, I think they're better than Florida because Florida, what Florida thrives off of is rebounding. Their big man just got hurt, and then I'm taking
We're on Tennessee. Fortunately,
No chance. Sorry, St. Peter's.
I mean, I do want St.
Love
Peter's
ya.
to win. You know,
Jersey.
NJ. You know what I'm saying? But it's like they do have a really good sophomore, probably one of the best scoring sophomores in the country. But their defense is terrible.
they don't have Doug Edert, and they don't have Casey Neffen. All right, Tennessee versus Texas. This is a very interesting game because Texas could easily beat Tennessee. Tennessee's inconsistency. They play in the SEC, and you know the SEC does not play defense. Big 12 does play defense.
So I'm going with Texas.
I'm going Texas.
Max Abesmith, Dylan DeSue.
They have the March experience. Don't connect. He's nice, but not nice enough. And then we're going Creighton over Oregon. Sorry, Oregon.
That's what I'm doing. So
Creighton's better than Oregon.
I feel like either Graham Ike or Kalkbrenner is taking down Zach Edey. Bucket, Zach Edey. Good luck at trying to make money in the G League.
All right, I'm just gonna little poof through here. All right, we're saying screw it. McNeese is beating Stanford, better coach. That's literally the only reason why I'm going.
Yeah, I'm not.
And
taking
Utah
that.
State
Boo.
is beating Purdue. You heard it here first. Purdue are the March chokers, and they will be losing to Utah State to go to the Sweet 16.
I do not have that whatsoever.
Screw.
This is the most complete Purdue team I've seen, and I hate Purdue. Will I have them winning the championship? No, because I hate Purdue. But this is the most complete team, so I'm not going to have them lose before the second
That is
weekend.
true. Purdue, they are shooting very well. They're like 4th in the country in threes made or 3-point percentage, something like that. They were like 270th last year, which is why I'll be changing my pick to Purdue because I forgot about that, and they shoot very well right now. And honestly, they have better.
You can keep that clip, though. You can keep that clip.
In case we do.
Yeah, because we do have that live. And you did stick by your pick for like a minute, so. But,
You know what they say about Purdue losing to higher seeds? I mean, I got them versus McNeese right here. But unfortunately, McNeese does not have a size to guard Zach Edey.
I feel like if Sanford gets to Purdue, they're going to win. It's just bound to happen if that happens. But,
I feel like I need a 1 seed going out early.
I have Graham Ike destroying Zach Edey. Zach Edey is he's gonna what's it called when you like you can't breathe but like you can breathe. Zach
knocked
Edey's
out of
getting
him?
the wind knocked out of him by Graham Ike. He's getting the wind knocked out of him. He's gonna try and go for a hook and hold, and he's gonna fall on his stomach, and he's gonna get the wind knocked out of him.
And Zach Edey won't
He's gonna
forgive
be
you for the
perfectly
elbow on
fine
foot.
though in 30 minutes, guys. I'm not praying on his downfall. He's gonna be perfectly fine in 30 minutes. He's going to punch another hole through the whiteboard, and Braden Smith is going to enter the transfer portal, or he's going to stay another year and suck without Zach Edey.
And then Creighton versus Purdue. Creighton was 1 possession away from the Final Four last year.
I have Texas beating Creighton, by the way. I've picked Creighton to too many Elite Eights and Final Fours in my bracket, and I'm just going to trust Max A. Smith. Tyrese Hunter, and we're just gonna trust the talent,
This is-
trust the boys, and I'm taking them to play Zaga.
So what happens when Texas loses to Colorado State in the first round?
It's gonna be it's gonna be something, man.
Yeah.
But it's
Creighton, this is finally their year. They were this close last year, this close, and they're not losing to Texas or Purdue. So I got them beating Texas, and I got them beating Purdue because Zach Edey versus Kalkbrenner, who's better? Kalkbrenner.
you know what they say. You gotta have a team that's a 4 seed or higher in your Final Four because it's always happened, and that team's gonna be Gonzaga.
See, if I switch my pick for Gonzaga to make McNeese, I'm taking Gonzaga to the Elite Eight, possibly Final Four.
I'm putting them in the Final Four bucket. You got Arizona, you got Gonzaga, you got Houston, and you're gonna see who we get out of the East.
All right, the East, the best region in the entire bracket. It's not even close.
It's not close. You got the Big Ten champ, you got the SEC champ, you got the Big 12 champ, you got the Big East champ, and the #1 overall seed. What are we doing?
I got
Ready?
FAU over Northwestern.
I do too.
I think FAU can break the game open more than Northwestern can. They have better scoring. John L. Davis is nice, Vlad Golden, and I think they're just the more March Kane team.
I mean,
Their team.
I did have Northwestern until up today when I heard Matthew Nicholson's going to be out because Minnesota's backup center has only gotten 10 minutes per game. Nicholson's played, I think, 30 minutes per game, and he's barely averaging anything. So I don't think Boo Booey's going to be able to do it by himself. I mean, I did hate on Boo Booey before the year, and he kind of proved me wrong. I accidentally picked Northwestern 2 days ago in my English class bracket, so if you do prove me wrong, I do have you there.
San Diego State versus UAB.
And
Yaxel
Kyle?
Lenenborg is a very good big, and they have I forgot the guy's name. He's a guard, very good guard, but San Diego State, they defend very well, and I really don't think UAB has any sort of chance in this game. So this is literally the 12-5 game that you do not pick the 12 seed at all. Nobody should be picking UAB.
Yeah, I mean, UAB did have a really good scorer last year. I forget his name, but don't got him anymore. And we going with Ledee and SDSU.
What?
Ledee?
I thought you said the D. No,
Oh.
Jaden Ledee he's nice. All right,
Um,
we'll go to Auburn. Well, we'll actually skip that because Auburn's winning. They're not losing to Yale.
Yeah, I mean,
We
like,
just struggled against Brown.
if it was Princeton, maybe, but it's like Xavier Lee, you should be a March Madness, brother, and you should be entering the transfer portal and going to Rutgers. But,
buddy. Go to Rutgers, play with Dylan Harper and his Beal.
BYU, Duquesne. Duquesne should be like a 13 seed. I don't know what the committee's doing here, but give me BYU. Even though I don't even know if they could even play on Sunday, and their second round game would be on a Sunday, so I don't even know if that's good with their religion, if they could play or not. But it's like they're gonna go play on Sunday.
Yeah, I have BYU. I really like this BYU team. They shoot the 3-ball well. They defend the 3-ball very well. And yeah, and I have Illinois. But if you're gonna pick a 14 to be the 3 seed,
It would be more.
it'll be Morehead State. They guard ball screens very well, and they trap the ball very well. If they can make Terrence Shannon struggle, it could get interesting. To be honest with you.
Yeah, Terrence Shannon's on a tear though, so that's not gonna happen. But I'm taking Drake over Wazoo State.
Yeah, Tucker DeVries.
Mizzou's giving me the vibes, but they turn the ball over a lot. Drake doesn't turn over the ball a lot. and
Drake
it's-
was 6 points away from being the team that went to the Final Four in Miami last year. Tucker DeVries, he's nice, and he shot. What did he shoot? He was like 3 for 19 that game. He made like two shots last year against Miami. They're not losing to Washington State, and I can see them easily beating Iowa State. Iowa State is they worry me because sometimes they'll play incredibly good, and sometimes they'll just be like, "What is going on with this team?" But I'm taking Iowa State to beat South Dakota State.
Same, and I'm also taking Iowa State over
Now we
Drake.
have Iowa State versus Drake.
I'm taking Iowa
What
State.
a game that would be!
I like whatever his name is, that foreign dude,
Honest-
Milanovic. Whatever
I would
his
not be
name
mad
is.
if you took Drake
You're a
over
guy.
Iowa State. I really wouldn't be mad if you took Drake over Iowa State. I want to do it. I just don't have the guts to do it, honestly. And I took an 11 over a 3 earlier, and I took an 11 over a 2. I'm not doing that again. So I'm going to Iowa State
Give me
and BYU.
the Mormons.
The Mormons they can stop what Illinois does best, and they're playing
Give me
Mormons.
BYU on a Sunday.
and they're beating Iowa State too
on a Sunday
to go to the Elite Eight because they already
Give me
beat them by
BYU.
15.
I'm doing that
points.
too. I've had BYU in plenty of my Elite Eights. But-
They beat Iowa State by 15. Where's the East region? Omaha. Oh, BYU's in Utah, right?
It don't matter where they at.
It don't matter.
They coming.
Fans, Iowa
They
State fans
coming.
travel very well.
They are coming on a Sunday.
All right, Auburn's beating San Diego State. Don't think twice about it. Auburn is one of the best teams in the entire tournament. They match up very well against almost every team, which is why after UConn beats FAU, Auburn will beat.
They're beating UConn. They're beating BYU.
They're going to the Final Four because Auburn, they have all the metrics to match up with UConn, and no defending national champ has ever made it past.
This team
the Sweet
reminds
16.
me of 2019 Auburn.
That was a crazy. What was it? It was Auburn, Texas Tech, Michigan State. Was that right? That was what it
Auburn, Virginia.
Yeah, on one side,
Texas
Texas Tech,
Tech.
Michigan State.
Yeah.
On the other side. That was a really random Final Four.
Yeah, that was really random.
What was it? It ended up being Texas Tech versus
Virginia and Texas Tech kind of
Auburn should have
sold.
won that game.
Yeah, Auburn should have won that game. It should have been
Alright.
Auburn versus Texas Tech. That would be a weird ass.
Now we have the
weird
Final
path.
Four. My Final Four is Auburn, North Carolina, Houston, and Creighton.
Mine is Auburn, Arizona, Houston, and Zaga.
And out of all the years they said, pick up. There's always a 5 seed or higher. I genuinely don't see any of them other than Gonzaga. That's the only team I can see that's past the 5 seed that will make a Final Four run. But it's March, so obviously BYU is going to go to the Final Four, and Houston's going to lose to Nebraska in the second round because that's what happens. But I have Auburn beating UNC. They have RJ Davis, obviously, but Ellie Cadeau is pretty inexperienced. Auburn matches up very well once again. They defend well for an SEC team. They score the ball at a high clip. And I think they're a better team, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. I see a menace like KD Johnson just going to the final. Yeah.
And then
I think he's
I
going to
got
transfer this year, but
Houston. I have Houston over Creighton. This is Houston's year, like I said earlier.
we both have Auburn, Houston final. Both of
I'd
us
say Houston's the better team.
have Houston.
Houston's the better team than Creighton. That's all it is at the end of the day. And they have the better resume, and that's why they'll go to the championship, where they will finally get it done in March.
They're beating Auburn 68 to 63.
They will beat Auburn, and they will finally get.
Jamal Shed has done it for he's done it for the past guys have been there. Quentin Grimes, he's done it for them. He's there, even though
Houston, you should have lost to Rutgers.
If
and-
Miles Johnson made that LU, Rutgers would have been in the Final Four versus Baylor. But that's another time to talk about.
Yeah, well, that's all we got.
Houston, I'm just feeling the vibes from Houston. I remember 2 years ago for Kansas, I was just feeling the vibes. Like, yep, it's Kansas' year. Boom. It was hard. No one really predicted that UConn thing.
Yeah, last year was just an anomaly.
2%, I think.
What was it? There was no one season in the Final Four last year. Right?
No one. That was an
It was like a 9, a 4, a 5.
See, that's why I'm thinking like March Madness is not gonna be that crazy 2 years in a row. If I get put in an edit, I get put in an edit. There's not gonna be that many upsets. I only count how many upsets in your bracket because it's the average of 13 upsets per March Madness. So first upset I have BYU's BYU over
2.
Illinois. Drake is an upset. Auburn over UConn's an upset. BYU over Iowa State's an upset. That's 4 in the East region.
5.
MSU won. Damn, why my voice drop?
7.
I got MSU with 1, 2, 3. I got the MSU with 3 upsets.
8, 9.
So that's 7. I got
10.
Charleston with an upset. That's 8.
11. I think I have
New
11.
Mexico's 9. New Mexico's 9. And then I got.
Oh, I have 12. Yeah, 12. Oh,
got
well,
10.
Drake is basically
11,
favored at this point. 13.
11,
I have 13 around
12,
13.
13. I got 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, maybe March will be a little bit crazy, but not like.
Okay, I don't think we can say.
Because
a
like
9 over 8's not an upset.
I mean it counts in that system, but I mean like I have. My thing is not too crazy. I don't have like 14 seeds, 15 seeds winning. That's gonna kill your bracket. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I have 13 upsets, and
I have 17.
good luck to everybody.
This is my year to win $1 million, so you're gonna see me next time producing in a yacht, probably. Actually, wait, that's a lot more than $1 million. You'll see me in a small boat, and on some.
CBS.
Huh?
They'll interview you. They'll be like,
Oh, yeah.
bracket.
You'll see me on TV soon, and then you can edit me on TikTok. before it gets banned. Yeah.
I like this, bro. I'm gonna literally lose sleep over this right here.
Oh, Texas is gonna screw my bracket.